Have you ever wondered what it takes to live vibrantly at 90, outlasting everyone who doubted you? I'm 90 years young, and I've silenced the skeptics by embracing a life full of energy, purpose, and 5 controversial daily habits that keep me thriving. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain on the unconventional choices that have fueled my longevity and defied all expectations. You need to watch until the end because these game-changing secrets could inspire you to rethink your own routines, unlock a healthier, bolder you, and live life unapologetically, no matter your age. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Controversial thing 1. I eat eggs every single morning. For years, I've started my day with a hearty breakfast of eggs, and I mean whole eggs, with those rich, golden yolks that so many people were taught to fear. For nearly 4 decades, from the 1970s through the early 2000s, medical professionals across the United States issued dire warnings about eggs. The prevailing narrative was that the cholesterol in egg yolks was a ticking time bomb, poised to clog arteries, spike blood cholesterol levels, and send millions of people straight to the cardiac ward. This advice wasn't just a suggestion, it was treated as gospel. As a result, an entire generation of seniors diligently tossed out the most nutrient-dense part of the egg, opting instead for bland egg white omelets or cholesterol-free substitutes that tasted like a cross between cardboard and regret. We trusted the experts, followed their rules, and yet, heart disease rates continued to climb. Meanwhile, many of us grew weaker, our energy waned, and cognitive decline, memory lapses, foggy thinking, became disturbingly common. What wasn't widely shared at the time, and what groundbreaking research from Harvard Medical School has since confirmed, is that the cholesterol in eggs has almost no significant impact on blood cholesterol levels for the vast majority of people. The fear-mongering around eggs was based on outdated science that failed to account for how the body actually processes dietary cholesterol. Your liver produces most of the cholesterol in your bloodstream, and when you consume cholesterol from foods like eggs, your body typically adjusts by producing less. For most people, this means that eating eggs doesn't meaningfully raise blood cholesterol levels or increase the risk of heart disease. But the benefits of eggs go far beyond simply being safe. Egg yolks are a nutritional powerhouse, packed with essential nutrients that are particularly critical as we age. One of the most important is choline, a nutrient that plays a vital role in brain health. Choline is a building block for cell membranes and is essential for producing acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that facilitates memory, learning, and muscle control. Without adequate choline, cognitive function can falter, and muscle coordination may weaken, issues that many seniors face as they age. Eggs are one of the richest and most bioavailable sources of choline, meaning your body can absorb and use it efficiently. Harvard researchers conducted a landmark study that followed over 200,000 individuals for more than 30 years, tracking their dietary habits and health outcomes. Their findings were unequivocal. For healthy individuals, consuming 1 egg per day showed no association with an increased risk of heart disease. In fact, the study highlighted significant cognitive benefits, including improved memory and mental clarity, particularly in older adults. Eggs also provide high-quality protein, healthy fats, and a range of vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, and selenium, all of which support overall health and vitality. Consider the story of Vernon, an 87-year-old retired schoolteacher from Ohio. In 1990, his doctor warned him that eggs were a heart attack waiting to happen, so Vernon dutifully avoided them for 30 years. Over time, he noticed troubling changes. He struggled to recall his grandchildren's names during family gatherings, his energy levels plummeted, and his muscle mass began to waste away despite his efforts to stay active. By his mid-80s, Vernon was desperate for a solution. When a new physician, well-versed in the latest research, suggested reintroducing eggs to his diet, Vernon was skeptical and frankly terrified. He'd spent decades believing eggs were dangerous. But he was also desperate enough to give it a try. Vernon started eating 2 whole eggs every morning, prepared simply, scrambled with a bit of butter or boiled for convenience. Within just 4 months, the changes were remarkable. His mental clarity improved significantly. He could hold conversations without losing his train of thought, and he even started remembering small details he'd previously forgotten. His energy levels surged, allowing him to take longer walks and engage more actively with his family. Perhaps most surprisingly, his quarterly blood work showed no increase in cholesterol levels. His numbers remained stable, defying the warnings he'd heard for decades. If you're still avoiding eggs because of outdated advice from the 1980s or 1990s, you're missing out on one of nature's most complete and accessible superfoods. Your brain and body need the nutrients in eggs, especially as you age and the risk of cognitive decline and muscle loss increases. Start tomorrow morning with 1 or 2 eggs, prepared however you like, poached, fried, scrambled, or boiled. Pair them with a side of vegetables or whole grain toast for a balanced meal. Give your brain and muscles the fuel they're craving, and don't let old myths hold you back from thriving. Controversial thing too. I skip breakfast and don't eat until noon. When I first told my doctor that I'd stopped eating breakfast and didn't consume anything except water and black coffee until noon each day, his reaction was one of sheer panic. He warned me that skipping breakfast would wreak havoc on my body. My metabolism would grind to a halt, my blood sugar would spiral out of control, my muscle mass would waste away, and I'd likely end up in the hospital within months. For decades, seniors have been told that breakfast is the cornerstone of a healthy day, that we need to eat small, frequent meals to keep our metabolism humming, and that skipping meals is a dangerous gamble, especially for older adults. This advice has been so deeply ingrained that it's rarely questioned. But what if everything we've been told about breakfast and constant eating is wrong? Rigorous research from institutions like Johns Hopkins Medicine and publications in the New England Journal of Medicine paint a radically different picture. Intermittent fasting, intentionally going without food for specific periods, has emerged as a powerful tool for health and longevity, particularly for seniors. When you give your digestive system a break for 12 to 16 hours, your body activates a remarkable process called autophagy. Autophagy is like a cellular housekeeping system. During this fasting window, your cells break down and recycle damaged proteins, clear out metabolic waste, and repair themselves at a molecular level. This process reduces inflammation, improves cellular function, and may even slow the aging process itself. Studies from Johns Hopkins have shown that intermittent fasting offers a range of benefits for older adults. It helps maintain a healthy weight without the need for restrictive diets or calorie counting. It improves insulin sensitivity, which is critical for preventing or managing type 2 diabetes. It reduces oxidative stress, a key driver of aging and chronic disease. Perhaps most excitingly, intermittent fasting may extend both lifespan and health span, the number of years you live in good health, free from debilitating conditions. These findings challenge the conventional wisdom that constant eating is necessary to stay healthy. Take the example of Harriet, an 84-year-old retired nurse from Florida. Harriet struggled with prediabetes and chronic inflammation that left her joints aching and stiff every morning. Her rheumatologist, aware of the emerging research on intermittent fasting, suggested she try a simple 12-hour eating window. Finish dinner by 7 p.m. and not eat again until 7 a.m. the next day. Harriet was hesitant at first. She'd spent her career preaching the importance of breakfast, but she was willing to try anything to ease her pain. Over a few weeks, she gradually extended her fasting window, eventually stopping food intake by 6 p.m. and breaking her fast at noon the next day, effectively skipping breakfast altogether. The results were nothing short of transformative. Within 8 weeks, Harriet's inflammation markers, as measured by blood tests, dropped by nearly 40%. Her joint pain, which had once made simple tasks like getting out of bed a struggle, decreased significantly. Her blood sugar levels stabilized, reducing her risk of progressing to full-blown diabetes. As an unexpected bonus, she lost 12 pounds of stubborn weight without feeling deprived or obsessively tracking calories. Harriet felt more energized and mentally sharp than she had in years, and she was able to enjoy her daily walks without discomfort. The science behind intermittent fasting explains why it's so effective. When you eat constantly from morning until night, your body remains in storage mode, focused on digesting food and storing energy. This leaves little opportunity for cellular repair and cleanup. Over time, damaged cells and proteins accumulate, contributing to inflammation, insulin resistance, and age-related diseases. By giving your body a break from food, you allow it to shift into repair mode, activating autophagy and other protective mechanisms. If you're intrigued but unsure where to start, try a simple 12-hour overnight fast. Finish your last bite of food by 7 p.m. and don't eat again until 7 a.m. the next morning. Drink plenty of water, and feel free to have black coffee or unsweetened tea during the fasting window. As you get comfortable, you can gradually extend the fast to 14 or 16 hours, perhaps eating your first meal at 10 a.m. or noon. This isn't about starvation, it's about giving your cells the time and space to repair and rejuvenate. Start tonight, and let your body begin the process of cleaning house. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Controversial thing 3. I lift heavy weights, not just take walks. At 90 years old, I regularly lift weights that would surprise most people, including many half my age. When I began this practice at 70, my doctor at the time was horrified. He called it reckless, irresponsible, and a surefire way to injure myself. The conventional advice given to seniors is clear. Stick to low-impact activities like walking, gentle stretching, or perhaps water aerobics if you're feeling bold. Lifting heavy weights? That's out of the question. We're told our bones are too brittle, our balance too shaky, and our bodies too frail to handle the stress of resistance training. But groundbreaking research from the Mayo Clinic and other leading institutions tells a different story. One that could transform how seniors approach aging and independence. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength, is one of the greatest threats to seniors' quality of life. It's why so many older adults struggle to climb stairs, carry groceries, or even rise from a chair without assistance. Left unchecked, sarcopenia can lead to falls, fractures, and a loss of independence that forces many into assisted living. The Mayo Clinic's extensive studies on resistance training in older adults have shown that progressive strength training, lifting increasingly heavier weights over time, is the most effective way to prevent and even reverse sarcopenia. Unlike walking or other cardiovascular exercises, which are important but primarily benefit the heart and lungs, resistance training directly targets muscle and bone health. The Mayo Clinic's research found that adults over 65 who engaged in regular resistance training 2 to 3 times per week experienced significant improvements in muscle mass, bone density, balance, and functional strength. These benefits translated into greater independence and a lower risk of falls, which are a leading cause of injury and disability in older adults. Remarkably, seniors in their 70s and 80s who started lifting weights saw measurable increases in muscle strength and size within just 8 to 12 weeks. Strength training also stimulates the release of growth factors that support bone health, reducing the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. Consider Stanley, an 88-year-old widower from Texas. A few years ago, Stanley could barely carry a bag of groceries from his car to his kitchen without stopping to rest multiple times. His doctor warned him that he was on a path to assisted living within a year. Desperate to maintain his independence, Stanley was convinced by his grandson, a physical therapist, to try resistance training. He started with simple resistance band exercises twice a week, focusing on basic movements like squats, rows, and chest presses. Over time, he progressed to light dumbbells, then gradually heavier weights. After 18 months, Stanley's transformation was astonishing. He could carry his groceries with ease, get up from chairs without using his arms, and navigate his home without fear of falling. He remains fully independent, living in his own home and enjoying a quality of life he thought he'd lost forever. The science is clear. Every day you avoid resistance training, you lose a little more muscle mass and bone density, losses that accelerate after age 60. This gradual decline erodes your ability to perform everyday tasks and increases your risk of falls and fractures. But it's never too late to start. If you're new to strength training, begin with resistance bands or light dumbbells, 2 to 5 pounds, and focus on simple exercises that target major muscle groups. Squats for your legs, rows for your back, and presses for your chest and shoulders. Aim for 2 to 3 sessions per week, with a day of rest between workouts to allow your muscles to recover and grow. If possible, consult a physical therapist or trainer experienced with seniors to ensure proper form and avoid injury. Don't let outdated stereotypes about aging keep you from building the strength you need to live life on your terms. Every session of resistance training is an investment in your independence, your mobility, and your future. Start this week, even if it's just 10 minutes with a pair of light dumbbells. Your body is capable of more than you've been led to believe. Give it the chance to prove it. Controversial thing 4. I spend time in the sun without sunscreen. For years, I've made a deliberate choice to spend 15 to 20 minutes in direct sunlight several times a week, exposing my bare arms, legs, and face without sunscreen. I'm not reckless about it. I time these sessions carefully, sticking to early morning or late afternoon hours when the sun's rays are less intense. When I first shared this habit with my dermatologist 5 years ago, she reacted as though I'd confessed to a dangerous crime. Her face turned pale, and she launched into a passionate lecture about the perils of skin cancer, premature aging, and irreversible sun damage. She warned that I was essentially gambling with my life, likening my behavior to playing Russian roulette with my health. For decades, the public health message aimed at older adults has been unambiguous and unrelenting. The sun is a dangerous enemy. We've been told to avoid it at all costs, to slather on SPF 50 or higher before stepping outside, even for a brief errand, and to treat sunlight as a toxic force that will inevitably harm us. Sunscreen has been marketed as non-negotiable, and shaded living has become the norm for many seniors. But this fear-driven narrative overlooks a critical and underreported public health crisis that's quietly wreaking havoc on older adults. According to a 2023 report from Harvard Health Publishing, over 40% of American adults aged 65 and older are severely deficient in vitamin D, a nutrient often referred to as the sunshine vitamin, because the body produces it naturally when exposed to UVB rays. This deficiency isn't just a minor inconvenience, it has profound consequences. Low vitamin D levels are directly linked to weakened bones, increasing the risk of osteoporosis and fractures, which can be life-altering for seniors. Beyond bone health, vitamin D deficiency compromises immune function, leaving older adults more susceptible to infections, autoimmune disorders, and even chronic illnesses. It's also associated with higher rates of depression, cognitive decline, and diminished quality of life. These aren't abstract risks, they're measurable, preventable, and devastating. While vitamin D can be obtained through supplements or fortified foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, or certain mushrooms, these sources often fall short of meeting the body's needs, especially as we age. The skin's ability to synthesize vitamin D declines significantly with age, making strategic sun exposure even more critical for seniors. Harvard researchers emphasize that brief, intentional sun exposure, 15 to 20 minutes on the arms, legs, and face, 3 to 4 times a week, during non-peak hours, can stimulate sufficient vitamin D production without significantly elevating the risk of skin cancer. This approach is particularly vital for older adults, whose bones are more fragile and whose immune systems need every advantage to stay resilient. Consider the story of Lorraine, an 82-year-old retired librarian from Oregon. For decades, Lorraine avoided sunlight religiously, haunted by her mother's melanoma diagnosis in the 1980s. She wore long sleeves year-round, applied high SPF sunscreen daily, and stayed indoors during sunny hours. To compensate, she took vitamin D supplements sporadically, but she never felt truly well. She struggled with persistent low mood, frequent colds and infections, and, most alarmingly, a hip fracture from a minor fall at age 80. After the fracture, her orthopedic surgeon ordered comprehensive blood work, which revealed her vitamin D levels were critically low at just 18 nanograms per milliliter, far below the healthy range of 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter recommended for optimal health. Her surgeon prescribed a simple but transformative intervention: 15 minutes of sensible sun exposure most days of the week, time to avoid the intense midday rays between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. Lorraine began taking short walks in her garden during the early morning, wearing short sleeves and no sunscreen for those brief periods. Within 3 months, follow-up blood tests showed her vitamin D levels had climbed to a healthy 42 nanograms per milliliter. The impact was remarkable. Her mood lifted noticeably, she reported fewer infections, and repeat bone density scans showed measurable improvement. Lorraine's story isn't unique. It's a testament to the power of sunlight as a natural, accessible, and free source of a nutrient our bodies desperately need. The fear-based messaging around sun exposure has led millions of seniors to shun the sun entirely, but this comes at a steep cost. Chronic vitamin D deficiency accelerates bone loss, weakens immunity, and heightens the risk of mental health challenges, including depression and cognitive decline. These risks compound with age, silently eroding health and independence. By contrast, strategic sun exposure, short, intentional periods of unprotected skin exposure during safer hours, offers a low-risk, high-reward solution. For example, in regions with moderate climates, exposing about 25% of your skin, arms and legs, for 15 to 20 minutes 3 to 4 times a week can generate 1,000 to 2,000 IU of vitamin D, often enough to maintain healthy levels without supplements. Of course, this approach isn't a free pass to bake in the sun for hours. Overexposure, especially during peak UV hours, does increase the risk of skin damage and cancer, particularly for those with fair skin or a history of skin cancer. But blanket avoidance of sunlight is neither necessary nor healthy. If you're worried about skin cancer, consult your doctor to tailor a plan that balances vitamin D needs with skin safety, factoring in your skin type, geographic location, and personal health history. For most seniors, a small, mindful dose of sunshine is a powerful ally, not an enemy. Step outside in the early morning or late afternoon, bare your arms and legs, and let your skin drink in the free medicine that's been waiting for you all along. Controversial thing 5. I eat full-fat dairy, not low-fat versions. The second practice that raises eyebrows is my unapologetic love for full-fat dairy. I spread real butter on my morning toast, pour whole milk into my coffee, savor full-fat cheese without a hint of guilt, and opt for regular yogurt instead of the fat-free or low-fat versions that dominate grocery store shelves. For decades, this way of eating was considered a one-way ticket to a heart attack. Since the 1970s, dietary guidelines from major health organizations, including the American Heart Association, have demonized dietary fat, especially saturated fat from animal sources like dairy. We were told it would clog our arteries, skyrocket our cholesterol levels, and send us to an early grave. In response, millions of Americans obediently switched to skim milk, margarine, and low-fat everything, believing they were making the healthiest choice. But recent research has turned this long-standing dogma on its head. A 2024 meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that full-fat dairy is not only safe but may actually be healthier than its low-fat counterparts. The study, which pooled data from over 30 large-scale observational studies, showed that people who regularly consumed full-fat dairy had a lower risk of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity compared to those who chose low-fat or fat-free alternatives. This is a seismic shift from the anti-fat crusade that shaped nutritional advice for nearly half a century. Why does full-fat dairy outperform its low-fat counterparts? First, the fat in dairy is rich in fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are essential for bone health, immune function, and cognitive performance. These vitamins are naturally abundant in full-fat dairy but are often stripped away during the processing of low-fat products. To make matters worse, low-fat and fat-free dairy products are frequently loaded with added sugars or artificial sweeteners to compensate for the loss of flavor and texture, which can disrupt blood sugar regulation and contribute to weight gain. Full-fat dairy, by contrast, provides genuine satiety, meaning you feel full and satisfied longer after eating. This reduces the urge to snack incessantly, which is a common driver of weight gain and metabolic dysfunction. The science also highlights the unique composition of dairy fat. Dairy contains a complex mix of fatty acids, including conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, and medium-chain triglycerides, MCTs, which have been linked to improved metabolic health and reduced inflammation. These compounds are largely absent in low-fat dairy, which strips away not just fat but also these beneficial nutrients. Moreover, the fat in dairy slows the absorption of carbohydrates, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels and prevent the spikes that lead to insulin resistance over time. Take the case of Gerald, an 86-year-old retiree from Michigan. For 25 years, Gerald followed the low-fat gospel to the letter. He drank skim milk, ate fat-free yogurt, and spread margarine on his toast, convinced he was protecting his heart. Despite his dedication, he struggled with constant hunger, snacked on processed foods throughout the day, gained 30 pounds around his midsection, and developed borderline type 2 diabetes. Frustrated and exhausted, he consulted a nutritionist who suggested a bold shift. Ditch the low-fat dairy and embrace full-fat versions instead. Gerald was skeptical but gave it a try, swapping skim milk for whole milk, margarine for butter, and fat-free yogurt for creamy, full-fat Greek yogurt. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Within 6 months, the results were undeniable. Gerald's constant hunger vanished, and he naturally ate less without feeling deprived. He lost 18 pounds without intentional dieting, and his blood sugar levels stabilized, moving him out of the pre-diabetic range. His cholesterol profile also improved, with a favorable shift in HDL, good cholesterol, and triglycerides. Gerald's story aligns with the broader research. Full-fat dairy supports better weight management, improves metabolic markers, and enhances overall satisfaction from meals. The low-fat dairy trend, while well-intentioned, has inadvertently fueled a cycle of hunger, overeating, and nutrient deficiency. When fat is removed from dairy, the resulting products are less nourishing and often less palatable, leading manufacturers to add sugars or artificial ingredients to make them appealing. These additives can wreak havoc on your metabolism, increase cravings, and leave you feeling unsatisfied. By contrast, full-fat dairy is a nutrient-dense, whole food that delivers what your body needs in a form it recognizes. The fat content not only enhances flavor but also signals to your brain that you're full, reducing the likelihood of overeating. If you've spent years dutifully choosing low-fat or fat-free dairy, it's time to reconsider. Swap your skim milk for whole milk, trade margarine for real butter, and reach for full-fat yogurt and cheese. Pay attention to how your body feels after meals. More satisfied, less hungry, and more energized. These foods aren't just delicious. They're designed by nature to nourish you. At 90 years old, I'm living proof that challenging outdated dietary dogma and embracing evidence-based nutrition can lead to a vibrant, independent life. Wow, what a journey it's been sharing my 5 controversial daily habits that have kept me thriving at 90. I hope you're as inspired as I am to live boldly and defy the odds. So, tell me, what's one thing you've learned from this video that you're excited to bring into your own life? Drop it in the comments below. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more tips on living your best life.